enjoy this reading. If anybody would like to donate to help out the channel, you can find my Cash App, Amazon wish list, and PayPal all in the description box below. And I truly appreciate anybody who is here to support me as I am here to support you. So thank you all for your contributions to this channel and to my work. I appreciate it very much so. So there could definitely be something that people are asleep on right now collectively. There could also be someone in your life who may have passed recently or may be passing soon as well. This could definitely be somebody that lived their life to the beat of their own drum and did things their own way, regardless of what anybody else thought about that. I feel like there is definitely going to be a triggering of a lot of passion, a lot of intensity, vitality in your life, something that's going to make you feel very inspired to live your life, to open your heart again, to express yourself again, and to really feel unashamed of yourself and what you want. So let's see what messages we're going to get today from our ancestors and from our guides and our divine mother and father. Thank you all for being here. Destiny. Money flows to me now, so much it makes you question how. Swiftly rising up the ranks, constantly filling in the blanks. Nothing can touch my energy, working in perfect synergy. Spiritual warfare falls on deaf souls, but not on those on top of their goals. What you give, your energy grows. What one reaps, one truly sows. Have faith and trust in the source. Can't take what's mine by any force. Angels guard what's meant for me. Power felt for all to see. So there's definitely people that are going to be waking up to just how powerful you are, just how protected you are, and just how little their efforts to tear you down actually amount to. Right now, nobody is able to penetrate the force that you have created. You have gained so much strength and solidity that you cannot be torn down. Nobody can tear me down. Never can, never will. Shifting focus to self more. I've done enough for others. I am whole on my own. I am stronger than I think. I can do anything that I set my mind to, and that is helping me on this journey. I realize how much I have done for others in my life, and I apply those things in my own direction as well now. It's time for self-focus and self-care. Others can stand on their own for now as well. I am worthy of my focus, and my whole being will shift once I decide to shift my focus to me. So, sometimes when you decide to make this shift in your life and you decide to work on yourself and your own goals and the things that you have that are important to you, especially if you have spent your entire life sacrificing everything that you are for everyone else, you end up having a lot of people walking away upset, hurt by the fact that you're no longer going to do what's best for them, but you're going to start doing some of the things that are best for you too. And that's okay. You are perfectly fine being on your own. You are strong enough to be able to handle this energy and this time period where you have to fight for what is right for you without much support on your side. I have been through that a lot myself, and I know that you can make it through that too. Hi, Nevaeh. Nice to see you. I hope you're doing good today. You may be extremely busy right now. Make sure to make time for you as well. Self-care is important at this moment. It won't always be this busy, and soon things will slow down again. Get some good sleep so that you aren't so tired, stressed, or frustrated. Lavender, chamomile, or valerian root are good natural ways to help sleep. So, as everyone knows, last week I was having an extremely busy week with everything going on all at the same time. And so I ended up actually canceling my live reading. That's the first time I've actually canceled my weekly reading on Thursday. And I was kind of torn about whether or not I should, but at the end of the day, I knew that I needed some extra time for me last week to be able to take care of the things that I needed to take care of so that I could focus on this better when I came back to it. So I took that time for myself, and I got some extra rest in between all the things that were going on, and it definitely made a very big difference throughout my week. And just because you're taking a rest rest on the things that are important to you and the goals that you have does not mean that you're giving up on them. You take a minute to take a breath, to get yourself together for some self-care, and then you get back to it and you're doing it even better than you were before because you were able to give yourself that time that you needed. So if you're feeling like you need some extra time for rest, you need some extra time for yourself, take that extra time for yourself now and you definitely won't regret it later. That is for sure. Be vigilant. Time to reflect. So it's time to really look inside of yourself and see what has changed throughout the time that you've been working on these things. What have you accomplished? What goals have you set and have you achieved? Because you may not have achieved your end goal at this time, but I'm sure that you have achieved a lot of what you set out to achieve. And it's time to really take that minute to pat yourself on the back, to be proud of yourself, to tell yourself, job well done. Damn, I am so proud of you. I am so amazed by what you've been able to accomplish, what you've been able to do, because not everybody has it in them to be able to do the things that you have been doing and to be able to come out ahead, especially with very little support. And I feel like a lot of you have been with very little support throughout this time period as well. My day's going pretty good, honestly. I had that momentary setback last night. But, you know, I was kind of on the fence about accepting that offer anyway. It really made me very excited and I was very happy to have somebody ask me on a date. And at the same time, I got the feeling that it was going to turn out that way anyway. And basically my guides were testing my commitment to not allowing it to distract me from what I got going on, not allowing it to tear my world apart, but just being able to accept it, surrender it, let it go, and realize that rejection is protection, because that is exactly what it is. I don't want a person in my life that can't accept the fact that friendship is the base of a healthy relationship. And if you're interested in a relationship, then you should be interested in a friendship. And if you're not interested in the friendship, you don't get the relationship either. So basically, I told him to take a hike. He did apologize, said he got confused, didn't realize that's what I was talking about. But I was like, you know what? No, I'm good. I don't want to give you a chance to make it up. I'm good. Thank you. I'm done dealing with people that are only after parts of me, but don't want the whole me. And that even includes if I wasn't interested. If I wasn't interested at all, you would have disappeared and we wouldn't have been friends. And you know what? That's not a friendship. Thank you for that. So, you're definitely getting inspired. That's what's going on here, is you're getting inspired. There's some sort of ending that's going to be happening in your life that is going to cause a lot of inspiration. And you may feel like you are very out in the cold, alone, not much support like we were talking about before, because you have chosen to work on things that make you happy, because you have chosen to face obstacles in your life and overcome them, and because you have chosen to put yourself first. There may be a lot of people who move away from you or who already have moved away from you. And so you could feel like you're out in the cold alone on your own, but if you look at this card, there is little gnomes here that are kind of pointing the way and giving direction. And it takes us a minute to realize that even though we feel alone, we are never truly alone. The divine beings, our angels, ancestors, the ascended masters, they are all with us all the time. And they are there to support us. They are there to encourage us. They are there to leave us little trinkets that we find in the snow that remind us of them, or that remind us of what we are working on and why it's so important to us. There will be little things that happen or little pieces of feedback that come back to you that really give you that encouragement to continue moving down the path. And I really feel like this spark of inspiration is going to cause you to be creating some amazing things that are definitely needed. And if you would not have taken this leap of faith the way that you have taken this leap of faith, then you would not be here to create these things. So remember to make sure that you are proud of yourself and celebrating yourself for being able to take a walk off the beaten path and do what you feel called to do. The Road Less Traveled by Aura de Prophet, great song. And it pretty much talks about leaving the mainstream and being able to take the road less traveled. That is the path that you're being called down. And the road less traveled can sometimes be extremely hard to walk down, especially when everybody is calling you crazy, or when everybody just disappears on you, when there's not much support, or when it seems like everybody just steps away. And a lot of it seems like they're stepping away because literally you are not their doormat anymore. And you have chosen to do something for yourself for the first time. So that's what I have for that portion of message. Let's see what else they want to talk about today. Grateful for the freedom here, constant need to release fear, watched over, guided, and protected, constantly feeling intersected. Seeing light is hard at times, darkness released through my rhymes. Grateful that I am never alone, my skills and knowledge, weapons I hone. Building up my spiritual faith, always in touch with the ghostly wraith. Standing in my power now, at long last, I take a bow. 2/22/21. No matter how hard this is, freedom is a win. So your freedom is something to be grateful for right now. Even though it may not look like freedom, it looks like being alone, it looks like being not supported, it looks like having no one that has your back, you have that freedom. And that freedom is something that really is truly a blessing. The freedom from other people's energy, from their thoughts, from their opinions, the freedom to just be yourself and to not care what anybody else thinks about that. And also really being able to understand that even if you do feel alone, that's just the fear talking. Because really, in essence, we are never alone. And even if we needed it, there is people that we could reach out to ask for help from. And there are those that would step up and provide the assistance when needed. It's not always going to be the first person you ask. It's not always going to be the people that you want to be there for you, the people that you expected to be there for you, or you thought would support you because you've been there to support them. But there are still those there that would support you. A love that's true. I deserve a love that's true, no longer feeling blue. My soul longs for someone real, one who has the nuts to seal the deal, ready for someone to step up. I've learned how to fill my cup. So many things left unsaid, all the tears that have been shed, no more sitting on a shelf. Time to truly love myself. Claiming abundance that rains down on me, prayers are answered for all to see. So love from the outside starts with love from the inside. If we don't love ourselves and we don't treat ourselves with that respect, that dignity, that honor, that integrity, if we don't treat ourselves that way, then other people will not treat us that way either. And that's pretty much, what I did when I spoke to that person last night. I told him, you know what, this was your last chance. You got 2 chances. I'm done with this situation. And he's like, well, you told me last night that you weren't interested. And I was like, no, I told you last night I wasn't interested in sex, that I was interested in building a friendship that maybe could be something more and getting to know each other better, which is what I told you the first time that you did this too. And now I'm done. And he's like, well, I didn't understand that. I was really confused. And I'm so sorry for that. I would really like a chance to make it up to you. And I was like, no, I'm good. I'm sorry, but I am done with people that are not here to be my friend first. Friendship is most important. It has nothing to do with the relationship. Just because I'm not interested in a relationship with you, you're going to do this despicable thing to me. That's not a friendship. And that's not how a friendship can start either. So being able to stand up and tell people that, being able to stand up and tell people how you feel about their actions towards you, and being able to walk away and cut things off when they're not good for you, that is how you find somebody that is good for you. Because the person that is good for you is not going to be doing things like that. The person that you want that is actually going to be true love, or the people you want in your life in general, not even necessarily just in a relationship, but the people you want in your life in general, they're going to treat you decently. They're going to respect your feelings and your emotions. They're going to take you seriously. They're not just going to disappear on you because you did something that they didn't like or because you didn't feel exactly the same way they did. And I do know that because you know what? There have been times where others have not felt the same way about me as I have felt about them, but I still worked on our friendship because the friendship was the most important aspect to me, not the partnership. Care for yourself as you do for others. Nurture you. So taking care of yourself, loving yourself, accepting yourself, really putting that time, effort, attention into you is something that is so important and something that allows you to be able to take care of and nurture others to a higher ability as well. Because when you are feeling good, then you can give out so much better energy to the world around you as well. But when you are drained and feeling down and out, and like you've given everything that you have to everyone around you and there's nothing left, you can't really give anything good to the world around you. So taking care of yourself is not selfish. It's something that you're doing not only for you, but for the world around you as well. And people can get off their high horses and stop feeling like you're doing something wrong by taking care of you. The only reason they're doing that is because they're busy sacrificing themselves to the point of being a doormat for everyone around them, and they think everyone else should too. Or they're the ones wiping their feet on all the doormats, and they feel like you should be down there so they can continue to wipe their feet on you. And once you pull away from that, they get upset about it because they have one less foot rest for them to put their feet on. Have courage and love without condition. Like I said before, being able to love somebody does not mean loving them under certain conditions. I love you only if you love me. I love you only if you want a relationship with me. I enjoy your company only if you want to be this certain way. But if you decide that you want to do something crazy, I'm out of here. That's not love. What love is loving somebody regardless of whether or not they want to have a relationship with you, regardless of whether or not they have done you wrong or done you dirty in the past. When you break it down and get down to it, the people that we have loved once, we will always love. Underneath the pain, underneath the hurt, underneath the anger, the resentment, the bitterness, underneath all of that, there is still that love at the base of it. And in order to be able to heal, in order to be able to forgive and release, in order to be able to move forward, you have to acknowledge that love. You have to be able to shed the tears that you felt for that situation, and you have to be able to forgive yourself and other people in that situation so that you can move forward with a light heart. A heart is not light when it's carrying around the burdens of the past, or when it's trying to prove that there's no love left for this person because they did me wrong. I'm not stupid. I'm not naive. I'm not dumb. No, you're not. But it's dumb to think that, there wasn't love there. Why would you have been with this person if there wasn't love there? And if you were with this person and there wasn't love there, then you were doing something wrong too. So you need to really look at the situation and go, wait a second, there is love there. Doesn't mean that we were going to be together forever. That doesn't mean that things were going to go exactly as I wanted. That doesn't mean that everybody was going to get treated the right way. But what that does mean is that people were trying to love and people were hurt. And people who are hurt end up hurting each other. And now I'm working on dealing with my own hurt so that I am not hurting other people and so that I'm not going into situations that are causing me as much hurt. And even if I do get hurt, it's not going to be as deeply because at this point, I know different. If things are meant to be, then things are meant to be. And if they're not, they're not. And as we allow things to fall away, we can allow new things to come in. Have the courage to really be able to face those things internally, to work through the emotional energy that you have going on, to really examine things from a different perspective. And also realize that you have a lot more options in front of you than you think you do. A lot of different places that you could go. There are so many different things that you can do in this lifetime. So many different decisions you can make, so many different paths you can take. But there is a path that feels most true to you. So what is that path that feels most true to you? Because that's where you're going to gain the most success. That's where you're going to gain the most strength, the most long-term strength and stability. The best situation possible is going to come from exploring your own emotions, exploring your options, and really deciding what is best for you, and not doing things simply because you don't want to hurt other people, or simply because you want something that somebody else doesn't. Because if somebody else doesn't want the same things you want, then that is a situation that is dead end. There's no point in holding on to it. There's no point in clinging to it. There's no point in trying to make it work, because this person is not wanting the same things that you're wanting. So, time to take action, to move forward, to really check in and see your shadow side and your light side. To look at the shadow side, to examine it, to understand why you feel the way that you do in these situations, why you feel like you need to hold on to the situations that aren't good for you, or why you feel like you are angry, upset, bitter, hurt, resentful about situations that you wanted to work out not working out. Really examining those things and being able to shine a light on the root causes of what is causing you to feel the way that you are. Are you looking for validation? Are you looking for outside external happiness instead of the happiness that fills you and is within you? What is it that you're looking for in situations? How does that affect how you see the world around you? And are you expecting things from others when those people cannot provide those things for you? Those things are found inside of yourself. Facing the anxiety head on, the fears, the nerves head on, really being able to address what scares you. There is nobody on this planet that could tell you they're never afraid. And I mean, I don't get scared on an all the time basis or anything, but I do have my fears at times. I have my anxieties at times. In fact, I come from a family of people who have massive anxiety attacks on an all the time basis, panic attacks and stuff like that. And I used to have a fair amount of those moments myself, but I don't anymore. And that comes from facing those fears head on, not turning your back on them, but looking them dead in the eye, facing them and overcoming them. When you are scared of something, there is a reason for it. And at the same time, there's a need to find out what that reason is and to work your way through it so that it can't hold you back anymore. Because fears can be very debilitating, very paralyzing. They can cause us to do things that we wouldn't normally do. They can cause us to accept things we wouldn't normally accept. They can cause us to turn away from opportunities that could have been amazing if we would have been willing to take a little bit of a leap of faith. Which is why, even if I was feeling a bit nervous about accepting the offer for a date, I went ahead and accepted the offer for a date. But also, when it didn't pan out, I didn't lose my shit and my whole world didn't crumble down. And that's because it was not the whole world. My world is inside of myself. It's not found outside of me. And your world is found inside of you. It's not found in somebody else's hands. Be at peace. If you do find yourself in this fearful energy, taking a moment to take a couple deep breaths. I used to have a really big problem when I was driving on the highway around diesel trucks. And there's a lot of diesel trucks around here. Hi, Rashima. Nice to see you again. So there's a lot of diesel trucks around here. And driving on the highway around diesel trucks used to really, really get me feeling shaky, nervous, anxious. And I really, really didn't like it, especially with my kids in the car. When you take a minute in those moments to take a couple deep breaths and to remind yourself how many times you have driven past those trucks and not a damn thing has happened. So what's the chances of something happening today? And even if it does, you know what? Whatever's meant to be will be. Take a minute to take a couple deep breaths to remind yourself that you're okay. Everything's just fine. There's nothing wrong here. This is just a moment of fear, and a moment of fear sometimes happens. And sometimes it's leading you towards something or away from something for a purpose. But sometimes it's there because it's ingrained in. That's when it really has no purpose other than to show you how to overcome it, how to face it, how to break free from the power that it has over you, how to take your own power back. Prayer and meditation are also extremely good for those moments. It's kind of like somebody with asthma, or say a panic attack disorder, something along those lines. When they have that going on and they feel like medicine is the only thing that can help with it, what if they can't afford their medicine? I had a friend who could not afford her medicine. For like a year and a half, she could not get an inhaler. She had massive asthma attacks. I taught her how to be able to control and regulate her breathing so that she wouldn't die without her medicine. They want you to think you have absolutely no power, but you do have that power. You have that power inside of yourself to be able to deal with things without those things becoming overwhelming and taking over your entire being and shutting down your entire system. Because sometimes that can happen from the amount of anxiety that you feel, the harshness of breathing that you get, the raising of your heartbeat. There was a couple years ago, about 5 or 6 years ago, there was a time where I seriously almost thought I was going to have a heart attack because of the level of beating my heart was doing at that moment, and I was freaking out, and I had to stop myself because I was like, I can't have a heart attack right now. I need to take a couple deep breaths. I need to calm down. I need to relax. I need to find my peace so that I can deal with the situation to the best of my ability. Because being in this state is not going to help anything at all. And I really don't need to be going to the hospital and dealing with this right now. I need to be taking care of what's in front of me. So I sat there and I took a couple deep breaths and I listened to my heartbeat and I dropped my heartbeat down. I've actually gotten so good at dropping my heartbeat down that I decided to try it out one of the times I was in the hospital to see how low I could get it. And it got down to 4 beats a minute before it started beeping, and I was like, okay, I should probably stop doing that before they think something's wrong with me. But those are all things that you can do. Your mind is a very, very powerful entity. And it really does regulate a lot of what you feel like is going on in your world and a lot of how your body responds to your world. So talk to your brain and let your brain know that, hey, we're not doing this today. Nope, I'm going to take a couple deep breaths and I'm going to be just fine. So in between messages, if anybody wants to be able to donate or purchase a question, you can find my Cash App, PayPal, and Amazon wish list all in the description box below. Make sure that when you send payment that you put your question in the comments as well, because it doesn't let me read the messages, PayPal or Cash App, and actually PayPal doesn't even give me a notification while I'm going live for some reason. Although I did connect it to my email now, so most of the time it'll pop up through my email while I'm going live. It picks and chooses. Anyway, back to the messages at hand. I love you still, but I choose me. I do not have hate in my heart for you. The times that I have are far too few. Anger at times, usually too fleeting to mention. Forgiveness is always my deepest intention, not just because hate poisons the heart, also because I know I had a part. Maybe I should have told you. I knew. I expected you'd come clean as time flew. Then I realized you would never stop as long as you had a way out to cop. As long as I continued to tell you all, you saw fit to make it your call. Had strangers thinking that they knew me, judging me, exactly what did they see? Not my story that I had told, but the ramblings of someone far too bold. I know for sure no one is perfect, but I shouldn't have had to suspect. Fighting with my intuition that was always right, not wanting to walk away from you, I would fight. Self-love and respect guides my actions now. I must lead the way to show you how. I hope you learn the same lessons in your own time. Understand how to make amends for your crime. Love yourself and let yourself shine. Trust me, I always think of you as mine. I'd fight the same for you as my own kids. Disloyalty to you my heart forbids. I hope one day the same is returned. Until then, this bridge is burned. So, love unconditionally. That's what we were just talking about a few minutes ago. And this is what it means. Even when you walk away from somebody who has hurt you, there is still that love there. It doesn't mean that you can have them in your life, especially if they were abusive or if they were busy gossiping or if they were busy lying and slandering or whatever the case may be. If they were busy treating you like you were nothing while you were busy treating them like they were everything. And that can create some resentments. That can create some pain, some hurt, some bitterness, and that's great. That's a natural response. But making sure that we heal those things is what keeps us from being poisonous to the next people that come into our life. So there could definitely be some friends that you have had to walk away from, or partners that you've had to walk away from because they were busy telling you or telling other people nasty things about you, or busy telling your secrets, or busy just doing things that were not good. And you forgave it and forgave it and forgave it, and then it was time to move away because they were just going to continue doing it. First off, make sure that you're addressing the things. Make sure that you are confronting the issues head on and communicating them about them. And at the same time, just because you confront them and communicate about them doesn't mean those things are going to change. But it also gives you that closure that you need because you made sure to say what you felt and what you needed to say. Today is a $10 question session. And did you send payment, Nevaeh? Because, like I was saying, PayPal doesn't necessarily always show it. But let me know if you did, and I will make sure to get to that question. Although I will say they'll probably answer it either way. It seems like they do every time. You may feel very alone right now. Remember that you are never alone. You may not have many people around you. Enjoy it because it won't last forever. Use this time for you and know that you will be feeling good for when you don't have as much time for you. Get some things done that you might have not had time and energy for in the past. Get a massage, take an extra long hot shower or bath, go for an extra walk. Do some extra art, watch a new movie, or read a good book. So, alone time doesn't have to be miserable. It doesn't have to be lonely. It doesn't have to be spent pining after all the people that you miss or all the people you wish were there. Instead, your alone time could be put to productive use. You could be using your alone time for the things that you need to get done, the things that you need to do for yourself that you haven't had time for. That's why that freedom is a blessing. When there's nobody around, that's a blessing in a lot of ways. And it's a blessing to have people around at times too. But it's also a blessing to have that free time to yourself because it gives you a chance to be able to do things that you don't get to do when other people are around. The Tower, the Eight of Swords, the Page of Cups. Yeah, you might be feeling a little bit trapped in your head, in your thoughts, worried about things that have fallen apart, kind of staring at the things that have crumbled down. There could have been some shocks that have come into you, things like that. But all of those things that are going on in your mind, those come from you. So it's time to really look in the mirror and examine why you're feeling the way that you are, why you're thinking the things that you are about your life or about yourself or about the situations that you're in. And it's time to really free yourself from any kind of overthinking energy. Overthinking is caused by fear, is caused by anxiety, which is why it's so important to get to the root of those fears and those anxieties, and to really also look at how strong you've been through everything that has been brought down in your life, through everything that has fallen apart in your life at different points. Look how strong you've been. Look how confident you've been. Look how solid you've been. And yes, you might have some things going on in your mind that are causing you a lot of pain or despair at this moment, or are causing you to feel very stuck or like you can't move forward. But those are just things that are things that need to be healed, that need to be examined, that need to be looked at so that you can understand what you need to feel safe in moving forward. And you can give that to yourself. You don't need anything from the outside world to feel safe moving forward. You need that love from yourself. Look in the mirror and tell yourself how much you love you, how strong you are, how solid you are, how stable you are, how confident you are. It sounds crazy, but that is called rewiring your brain, and it does rewire your brain. It replaces all of those things that have been told to you for a long time that cycle through your head when you're feeling upset with positive things. It gives you that nurturing you need, that love that you need, that care that you need. And it comes from inside of yourself so that your world can no longer be destroyed by anything outside of you. And all of these things that you're learning and going through right now, all of these things are happening for a reason. You are gaining a lot of extra wisdom, a lot of extra insight. You're gaining the ability to be able to navigate through life in a better way. You are also learning a lot of these things so that you can teach a lot of these things. So when it comes down to it, remember not to hide all of these things from the world. Somebody was actually telling me this morning that they didn't think that it was a good business sense to be sharing my stories on here of my personal life, and there's just too much drama for them, so they're leaving. And you know what? Last time I shared a story that was going on where I had things going wrong, somebody did the same thing, but I don't give a flying fuck. You want to know why? Because I'm looking for quality supporters, not quantities of supporters, which is why it has taken so long for my channel to grow. Because I'm not looking for every Tom, Dick, and Harry to be here, giving me their opinions, and I'm just supposed to live my life according to them. No, that's never going to happen. And also, because in order to teach people how to work their way through situations, you have to be willing to put yourself out there. You have to be willing to show when your days aren't so good, so that they can see how you handle those moments, so they can learn how to handle those moments themselves. Everything is not sunshine and rainbows and daisies all the time. I'm an authentic and real person, and that's how I prefer to present myself to the world. I don't prefer to present only half of myself, only the light side. Everybody has negative things that happen in their life, and I do too. And I'm not going to paint a pretty picture that no one will ever be able to achieve and no one will ever be able to find, because there is no such thing. Now, there is being able to handle it in the best way possible. There is being able to not allow yourself to crumble as your world does, to remain in your confident, steady, and stable spot, to remain in a happy, joyful spirit, to be able to cry out a few tears and get on with your life and allow the closure to happen so that you can invite in new energies. Things like that. And you can't teach those things if you're hiding those things. If you're feeling like in some way those things aren't allowed. And you know what? I won't let anybody make me feel like those things aren't allowed. This is my space, and I teach what I want to teach. And if you don't like it, the door's right there, which is pretty much what I told that person. Nourish the soul and show that you care. So, you also could be feeling stuck, stagnant, feeling like things have really been very hard. I also feel you have been stopping yourself from expressing your emotions, expressing your love, showing that you care. It's hard sometimes to show that you care to people after you have been through situations where you showed that you cared and they did not care in return. So, when that happens, sometimes we have a harder time expressing that we care. But the only way to get those expressions of care and love from other people would be to be able to give them ourselves. If we're emotionally unavailable, because that's what that is, it's emotional unavailability. When you're stuck in your head, overthinking, worrying, upset, and you can't express the love that you feel inside of you, and you can't show it to the people around you, and you can't give that care, then that is emotionally, bleh. Sorry. I lost my train of thought there for a second. So anyway, that is what it means to be in an emotionally distant energy. Unavailable. Unavailable. There's the word. Anyway, that's what it means to be emotionally unavailable. You can't express your emotions because of fear, because of worry, because of doubt, because of anxiety, because you're worried if you express yourself, this person isn't going to feel the same and they're not going to say the same things in return. It doesn't even matter. What matters is that you express yours. Otherwise, you spend the rest of your life in regret and wondering what would have happened if you would have behaved in a more authentic way to yourself, a more truthful way to yourself, to your emotions, and you would have actually put yourself out there hard on your sleeve instead of holding it back because you were worried about whether or not it was going to be returned, whether or not it was going to be stomped on, whether or not it was going to be swept under the rug, whether or not people were going to feel the same. Doesn't matter. What matters is that we are authentic to ourselves, that we put ourselves out there, that we speak our truth, regardless of what anybody else thinks about that or how anybody else feels about that. Because otherwise we feel stuck, we feel stagnant, we are sitting in a prison of our own making and allowing our actions to be dictated by what we think is the best move to make and the best game to play. We're busy playing checkers or chess. We're busy playing chess instead of being who we are, being strategic instead of just expressing ourselves. In nourishing yourself and taking that time for self-care, you're really going to be able to express yourself much better as well. Hi, Joe. Nice to see you again. So let's see what other messages they have for us today. So grateful for these messages. Some of them I could use a reminder of myself. These are definitely things that I choose to live by. And sometimes you need a reminder of that. Jaylene, another reader, actually commented on my post last night and gave me a much needed reminder. I didn't see it till this morning, and honestly, I was already feeling back to new this morning and was feeling pretty good about today. Today's a new day. But that reminder was really great, and I was really happy that she chose to take the time out to express that. It's nice to see you here. Hi, Sixth Intuition. Nice to see you again, too. A new pet may enter your life soon. It could also be a new friend. This will be the blessing that you need to light up your life again. Get out more, have fun, enjoy, explore, be yourself more. You have worked so hard and you have earned your fun time. You might even find a new hobby or life passion with this change. So, like we were talking about at the beginning of this reading, there's a lot of new inspiration coming into you. You're really going to be feeling good about what you want to do, where you want to go, and you're no longer going to be allowing life to hold you back. You're going to be feeling unashamed of the things that you desire and the things that you decide to do in your life. And this is really going to help you to live a much more authentic life that is so much more resonating with you, which is what causes happiness in your life. It's nothing outside of yourself that brings that happiness in, but it's how we choose to live our life and whether or not we choose to live our life authentically to ourselves, regardless of what anybody thinks. You are slowly breaking free from the pain of the past and the scars that have caused a lot of distortions in your life. You are starting to transform your ideas on what love is. You feel like you have been lost down some rabbit hole and trying to find your way back out, but you are breaking free, starting to see and accept the beauty in yourself and in others, forgiving the past and being truly grateful for the journey and all that is found within. The thing that popped into my head during that was Alice in Wonderland, where she's talking to the Mad Hatter and the Hare, and they really are big idiots, but at the end of the day, they end up being very great allies that really help her. And at first, she really didn't like them, and she was just completely irritated by them and aggravated by them. But at the end of the day, they were definitely people that were there to help her in her time of need. And so sometimes the people that we love most can really get on our nerves, can really cause us a lot of pain, a lot of anxiety, a lot of irritation, aggravation, frustration. But at the end of the day, it's not about who is drama free. It's not about who has absolutely nothing going on in their life, what it's about is who's going to have your back at the end of the day. Who's really going to be there for you? And are you going to be there for them, or are you going to be too busy walking away from everybody that comes your way because everybody has something going on? This Ain't No Place for a Hero is the song that's coming to mind. This ain't no place for no hero. It's all about who's going to stop you falling from your ladder at the end of the day. And it's not about who has absolutely nothing going on, because people have things going on and no one's perfect. Love is being able to accept somebody, flaws and all, ourselves and other people. Which is why you can't let the opinions or thoughts of other people on who you are cause you to not love yourself, because you are amazing exactly as you are as well. Interesting. I've had that song stuck in my head all day. Awesome. You came at the perfect time to hear it then. Definitely for a reason. Thank you, Rashima. My kids are safe and protected. I love them and they love me. People have tried to pull us apart, but our connection is so strong it can never be severed. They love me no matter who I am or what I am going through, and vice versa. I need to heal and get back on my feet so I can be there for them fully again. Whether it's kids, whether it's friends, whether it's partners, whether it's family, it doesn't matter who it is. If there are people in your life who love you regardless of what you have gone through, and who happen to be there no matter what you have faced at the end of the day, even if there have been disturbances, even if there have been rocky times, even if it hasn't always been perfect, then those are the people that really do love you. Being able to accept them in those positions is as important as them accepting you in those positions. And being able to show them how to break free of those positions is something that's very important as well, especially if they are people that look up to you, or people who learn from you, or people who are inspired by you. See the signs. Respect your boundaries. And just because you love somebody doesn't mean you don't have boundaries with them. Just because you love somebody doesn't mean that you don't voice things when it hurts you. Just because you love somebody doesn't mean that you completely morph into somebody else. Loving somebody means that you are okay with expressing what is okay with you and what isn't okay with you. And being able to accept it when they express what's okay with them and what isn't okay with them. Being able to understand their boundaries and not cross them is just as important as being able to set your boundaries and remind them that they're not allowed to step over those boundaries. That is where your boundary is. And if they want to be in your life, they need to respect that. Vice versa, though. If you want to be in other people's lives, then you need to respect their boundaries too. There's definitely some signs guiding you at this time. Things that you could be seeing. Coins. For some of you, you might actually be finding coins. And you know what? I was watching somebody pick up a penny the other day, and her daughter's like, "Oh my God, Mom, it's just a penny." And she's like, "Yeah, but it's a penny." And I was like, "Exactly. I pick up all the pennies I see too." If they're throwing money in your face and you're not picking it up, then you're going, I don't want that. But if you're picking it up, then you're going, ooh, I want this, and I'm so grateful for this. And then you find a couple more quarters later. And, things like that happen. They do a lot of that to throw you down the right path. Kind of like when I walked away from a situation where somebody had it was a complete and total shit show a couple months ago with this lady that I was working for. And I walked away from her, and part of me was like, should I have done that? Should I have done that? And I was worried about it a bit, and I got in my head a little bit, and all of a sudden somebody hands me $40. They're like, no, you did the right thing, and you will be just fine without this situation and without this person in your life. She was being fucked up. Loving yourself requires you to walk away, regardless of whether or not there was something you needed in that situation. You didn't need it. You wanted it. It was nice having it while it was there, but you can find it elsewhere. Now it's time to go find it elsewhere. And I did. It's definitely nice when it escalates to dollar bills, although I haven't found many dollar bills on the ground since the 90s. Everybody stopped using cash and started using cards, which kind of puts a dent in that a bit. Although I found $200 bills on the ground when I was a kid, which was pretty awesome. My sister stole most of it. I didn't realize it at the time because, I was a kid. But I do know now. I did actually talk to somebody a couple weeks ago, though. I bought his lunch for him. He's given me a little bit of change here and there and stuff like that. And when I seen him, I was like, hey, I got a little extra money this time. And I threw him a $10 bill. And he's like, you know what? I am so happy that you gave me this for lunch today. And I just found a $20 bill too. Today has been a really good day. And he really doesn't have a lot. So, he was having a really good day where the universe was just blessing him left and right. But he was also somebody who has nothing and who was blessing other people. So he definitely deserved those blessings. Anybody who tries to tell you different when you're receiving blessings doesn't know shit, because that's where blessings come from. They can say you're just lucky all they want. But when you're a good person, good things happen to you. If you believe that, and if you're open to receiving it, and if you're open to believing that you're a good person, because it does require that as well. I am so happy for you, and I am glad that walking away from toxic people has become a blessing in your life as well. It is definitely a blessing to be able to move away from toxic people. Just like rejection is protection on your end when people reject you, it's also protection when you reject others, for yourself and for them. Because you know what? That situation could have escalated into a much worse situation, and throwing it in the shit can when I did ensured that it didn't, for me or for her. Yeah, you have chosen to take this path of no longer working really hard to make others happy, of no longer putting in all this time, this effort, this energy, this commitment, this everything that you have towards everyone else's benefit. You have changed this cycle. You have broken this karmic cycle, learned how to remain grounded and at peace throughout all the ups and downs of life. And if you haven't learned that yet, that is what's on the horizon, is learning how to remain grounded throughout all the ups and downs of life, learning how not to let the little small moments completely crumble your world, but being able to stand strong through them, being able to change your perspective on them, being able to see those moments as something you can learn from and grow from, being able to see those moments as tests of strength, character, commitment, stability, and being able to really ride the wave and not allow the wave to drown you is definitely something that you are working towards. Having those healthy boundaries, being able to speak your piece, being able to be honest, even if it is hurtful at times, even if it's blunt, even if sometimes those words scar others. Well, you know what? Sometimes those words need to be said, period. Sometimes those words need to be said so that those people can look in the mirror and go, hey, the way I was behaving is not okay. The way I was behaving was something that was awful, and I can't believe that I did that. That doesn't mean you have to even let them back into your life, even if they do realize that. But it is a good thing to be able to speak the truth. And yes, it does hurt sometimes. And as an empath especially, it is extremely hard to want to hurt anybody. But sometimes tough love is necessary, because tough love is love too. Just because you're telling somebody the things that they have done that are not okay, and you're standing your ground and you're expressing your truth, does not mean that you're mean or cruel or evil. What it means is that you're being honest. You're being honest with yourself. You're being honest with others. You're not being this people-pleasing person that's a doormat anymore, but you're actually standing up and saying what you feel inside and what you know to be true instead. And that authenticity is what will change your life for the better for a very long time. So in between messages, again, if anybody would like to donate or purchase a question, you can find Cash App, PayPal, and Amazon wishlist all in the description box below. And I truly appreciate any of you who do those things for me, any of you who are interacting with me as well, or who interact with my channels on a regular basis. I truly appreciate you guys, and thank you so much for your support. A friend of mine wrote this message on things that she had picked up from what I was telling her, because she had some very big anger issues at times. Tips for taming your temper. Think before you speak. It's easy to say what you will regret later on. Take a few moments to collect your thoughts before saying anything. Allow others to involved to do the same thing. So when you're in an altercation with somebody and you guys are getting heated, it's getting escalated, you know, it's really hard sometimes to walk away from that situation and let it cool down. But that really is the best way to go. And I haven't always done that. I used to be the type of person that wanted to get the argument over with and done with right now, and we need to solve this now. But a lot of times it is much better if you take a few minutes for everybody to just get their bearings, get their peace, and then come back and address the issue. Because then everybody is cooled down a little bit, everybody can think more calmly, and everybody can respond more calmly. Although you still need to express your truth, because sometimes when you take that time away from the person and you guys cool down, a lot of the problems can be glossed over instead of being addressed and dealt with. So you also need to make sure that you still express what you need to express in those situations. Once calm, express your anger. As soon as you have a clear thinking process, express your frustrations in an assertive but non-confrontational way. State your concerns and needs clearly and directly without hurting others or trying to control them. And you know what? It doesn't matter how much you try not to hurt others. At the end of the day, there's just going to be some things that hurt them, especially when you're being honest. Honesty is not always something that is accepted with an eager, open hand or mind or heart. It's not something that's always peaches and cream. It just isn't. So at times it does still hurt, regardless of whether or not you're intending to hurt people, it still hurts. And that's okay. And realizing that that's okay and being able to be okay with that yourself is going to get you a lot further than burying the things that you need to say or the things that you feel out of concern for hurting another, because then you're just hurting yourself and you're internalizing everything that has been done that has hurt you. Homeless but not hopeless. My fingertips are numb, alone, some forgotten bum. Winter is almost here. Fall is close enough, I fear. Abundance I can almost taste. This time will not go to waste. Enough to take care of those close to me, enough to live our lives free. A place none will fear to go is a forever home that I'll sow. With plants and trees, life's necessities. Enough to travel with my girls and seeing new cultures their mind unfurls. Moving forward, looking back, time to finally unpack. Abundance is mine, it's plain to see. Enough to finally set me free. So, you know what? I could have gave up. I could have gave up way back then. You know how I had a lot of chances. I had a lot of people around me doing meth and drinking, and just that's the way they lived their life because they were living like I was. And, you know, you can dive into that lack and stay there. Or you can continue to work on what you feel is important. You can continue to take steps every day. You can prove your commitment to your path. Because it's not always going to be an easy path. Just because you chose this path doesn't mean it's going to be an easy path. Just because it's the right path for you doesn't mean it's going to be an easy path. Fuck no, it isn't. There's been a lot of obstacles. There's been a lot of challenges. There's been a lot of things that I've had to face, that I've had to overcome, that I've had to work my way through. Everybody has that in life. And we can either give it all up and drink it all away and snort it all away through our nose, or we can deal with life. We can change our perspectives on it. We can put that alone time to good use, like we were talking about in the beginning of this. Alone time doesn't have to be miserable, lonely, depressed. Alone time is something that gives you a lot of freedom to be able to do the things that you wouldn't be able to do without that alone time. It's all in what you put that alone time to use in. Friend or frenemy, most likely the same sex. Your beauty is so great. It's not just surface deep either. When I look into the mirror, I'm disgusted by what I see. That isn't surface either. What I have done is unforgivable, but I just can't seem to stop myself. I am so jealous of all the attention that you get, and I want it for myself. But I know as long as I am filled with hatred for myself and others, I will never get it. How do you do it? I know you haven't had it easy either. I know that you have been in my shoes, but I can't imagine you ever acting as I have. How will I ever forgive myself? I tell myself I'm going to stop spreading rumors and lies, but it's like I'm watching myself from the outside and I'm unable to stop it. My pain has a life of its own. My mental illnesses don't help either. I use every excuse as a crutch to not change what I need to and to work on myself instead of constantly looking at everyone else and shifting the blame. Say Bitch by Snow the Product, Sugar Honey Iced Tea by Nokia, Katana by Nokia. Could have possibly jumped you or wanted to, afraid of your power, jealous that you do what you want to do regardless of the opinions of others. Can't stand that you are being able to build something because they cannot do that in their own life. And I've also had to deal with a lot of people that, there was a fair amount of people that I actually had stay in my RV because, I may have been in a pretty rough situation myself, but sleeping on a sidewalk would have been worse. And so there was a fair amount of people who slept in my RV because they were in even worse boats than I was. There was a fair amount of people that I was helping to work through their issues, that I was helping to get out of that dump that they had thrown themselves in. And there was some people that had that recognition and had that good energy for me. There was a lot of them that had really nasty negative energy for me and did everything that they could to try to tear me down and destroy my life because they were busy being jealous of the person that I was. They were busy being envious of my strength. They were busy looking at all of the things that I was doing and seeing lack inside themselves. They couldn't love themselves, so they definitely could not love the person that was there for them when they were in need. Ouch. The sidewalk in New York City would be even worse. Ouch. Well, I hope that you had a good lunch break, and I hope the rest of your day at work goes good. But you could definitely have had somebody in your life or some people in your life that have just been very miserable. They have done some really nasty things to you, and a lot of them really wish that they could stop. They really wish that they could figure out a different way to handle things, a better way to handle things, but they just don't know how to. And I'm not saying that that excuses their behavior, because it really doesn't. It doesn't excuse their behavior. And I still told those people exactly what I thought of their behavior and how disgusting it was. And I still cut those people off. And yeah, one of them I actually threatened. She kept sending me threats, and she kept driving past my place, and she kept sitting outside my place staring at me. And finally I was like, you know what? I really don't want to have to, but I will call the police and I will get a restraining order if I need to. So you need to leave me the fuck alone. And she did. But there have been a few that have gotten a little extra. I'm glad you did too. Love and light to you as well. Bye, Joe. So let's see what else needs to be said about this. Yeah, you've been working hard, and you have definitely been being responsible, taking responsibility not just for you as well, but taking responsibility for a lot of the world. You can't carry it all around on your shoulders. When you deal with things like that, you have to be able to let it go at the end of the day, because otherwise it will drag you down and it will tear away what you're working on that is important as well. Taking the time to speak your truth, to gather your thoughts, to learn about situations before you express your truth. All of those things are definitely good things. You've definitely been learning a lot. You've been growing a lot. You've been working a lot. You have been really doing a phenomenal job. But there's definitely a need here to have some fun, to enjoy yourself, to really just let everything go and allow yourself to be at peace for a little while. Trust in the magic. Nurture all that you love. So, know that even though there are those that are going to come across you, that are going to use you, abuse you, that are just going to be very jealous or envious or cruel towards you, there are also those that are going to see and appreciate you and the good things that you do in this world, the amazing things that you do in this world. And there are going to be those who give back to you for those things. There are people who are watching you, who are noticing you, who are appreciating you. As you start to allow yourself to open up to the idea of nurturing the things and the people that you love, you're going to start to see that there are people there who nurture, love, and appreciate you as well. It's really hard sometimes to be able to open yourself up to that idea of that again after dealing with people who have treated you in the ways that people have. But it is so worth it, because at the end of the day, those weren't the people that were going to be able to give to you anyway. But there are people who can give to you. And in order to find those people, you had to remove yourself from the situations that were toxic. Because that is what self-love is. That is what self-care is. That's what self-respect and self-confidence is. And maybe as people are watching you do that, they might actually figure out how to do that in their own lives too. And that raises the collective vibrations. All those people that may have been a monster in your past might actually learn from those situations and might actually turn their life around. Hurt people, and that is a very true statement. It really is. Of course, you can choose to become the monster, or you can decide that you never want anybody to feel the way that you did again. Both have their drawbacks, because when you decide that you never want anybody to feel the way you did again, you have a tendency to become a bit of a people pleaser, a bit of an empath without proper healthy boundaries, somebody who isn't speaking your truth fully and completely because you don't ever want to hurt anybody. But there's a nice happy medium between the two. Alpha, the song Alpha is coming to mind. Mother Destroyer, one and the same. Just like anybody else, I have the capability of being a monster. And once in a while, I do have to bring it out. Like when I told that person to go fuck themselves last night. Sometimes that needs to be said, and that's just the way it is. Nobody likes to hear that. But sometimes that does just need to be said. And that is called self-love, and it's also called tough love. And both of those are very important. So let's see what else we want to talk about right now. This is the cutest little picture. My daughter drew this for me. She's getting really good at sketching people. She pulled out some of her sketches about a week ago. I didn't actually get to see them because she started talking about something else. Thank you, Nevaeh. She started talking about something else, so I didn't actually get to see the sketches, but I saw a few of them flash past. And wow, she is getting really good at that. Like, getting the details down and stuff like that. I got her a charcoal and pencil set with some sketch paper for Christmas, because she's really been just on this thing of sketching people all around her, and she is just getting phenomenal at it. So there's definitely something that you could be working on that you're getting better and better at as well. And that's the whole thing. Everybody's like, oh, you're so talented. It's amazing to have such gifts and abilities. I wish I had something like that. Well, if you really wished you had something like that, you would work on something like that, because I wasn't born with a freaking pencil in my hand. Yes, there's a lot of artists in my family and stuff like that. But the reason I am so good at painting is because I have been painting for years. For years. It would be amazing on a t-shirt. I never thought of that. I should get a t-shirt of that with her signature and everything. That would be awesome. Thank you for that suggestion. Right now, it's time to focus on you and your goals. We are on our own journeys, and we both know deep down that this is necessary. We have a lot to learn to align ourselves to a more unconditional form of love, and to also find our real highest power. When we are strong on our own, we will be stronger together. And so there's a lot of times where people have to go on their own separate journeys, where families have to break up and go do their own thing for a little bit so that they can learn things, so that they can come back to the table with new things. There's a lot of times that people have to be able to go on those own separate journeys because you can't learn the things that you are meant to learn while together. But at the end of the day, a lot of times being able to do that is going to bring things back together in a way that is going to be much more amazing and much more strong than it ever could have been without those moments. So sometimes it is a blessing in disguise to have a separation from the people that we love the most. Someone new is coming in for you. Enjoy your life more, live a little, take some risks for once. No more hiding from the spotlight. You shine so bright. Never hide that energy. When you shine fully, you will attract someone who shines just as bright as you. But it requires you to take off every mask, even that last one that guards your vulnerable heart. Even that last one that guards all of the bad days, all of the hurt moments, all of the scared moments, all of the obstacles that you're facing, all of the hardships that you're enduring. All of those things are part of you. As I told that person this morning, all of those things are part of me, and I'm not trying to present a picture that is fake. I'm trying to present a picture that is the real me, the authentic me. And that's what a true leader is able to do. They're able to present all of themselves, not just being in the background trying to sell something that's not even real, because it's not real. And the song that's coming to mind right now, if I'm shining, everybody gonna shine. I was born like this, don't even gotta try. I'm like Chardonnay, get better over time. I heard you say I'm not the baddest bitch alive. Haha. Yeah. Anyway, you're the baddest bitch alive. And it's time to really start accepting that, seeing that, expressing that. Being yourself. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many jealous looks you get. It doesn't matter how many bitter people that you end up with around you. Don't let those people get to you. Don't let them get under your skin. Don't let them drag you down. I had one that made me cry a couple months ago because I was having a drink with this guy, and he invited me over to have a drink with him, and his son was there with his girlfriend. And halfway through the night, she's flipping out on him. They're having this big fight. And all of a sudden, he's like, I have not slept with her. She is standing right there. Why don't you ask her yourself? And I was like, oh, shit. I should have known this is what they were fighting over. And she's like, I wasn't talking about her. He's like, that's the only one with blue hair around here. I didn't see nobody else with blue hair tonight. So who are you talking about then? And I was like, I literally just met him an hour ago. I was here having a drink with his dad. We are definitely not sleeping together. What is your problem? And then I started on my way home because his dad had disappeared for a minute at that point. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm just going home. And I ran into him and he's like, where are you going? I was like, I'm going home. And he's like, why? And I started crying. And I was like, she thinks I'm sleeping with your son, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, well, that's her. That has nothing to do with you. That's her own issues. And I was like, I know, but I'm just sick of this happening. Every time I go anywhere, I got every woman thinking that I'm screwing her man. And I am sick of that happening. I'm just sick of it. And I don't want to have to put up with it. I don't want to have to deal with it. And at the same time, he was completely right that was not me. It had to do with her. And there are times that it does get underneath your skin like that. There are times that it hurts. There are times that it hurts, especially if you're the type of person that wouldn't be doing that anyway. But they don't know that. And they're just busy not loving themselves. And they're busy in a very toxic relationship, because that is a toxic relationship. If your person can't even be around another person of the opposite sex without you flipping out on them, somebody that they just met even, that is a very, very, very toxic relationship. I ended up spending the night talking to those two and helping them to work through the fight and helping them to express themselves. And then I went home. Take the high road. Growth, fertility, abundance, new passion for life. So there's definitely a lot of good things coming into your life. You have definitely been through a lot, but you're going to be waking up to some of the beautiful things around you. You're going to start seeing and appreciating everything that's in your life. You're going to start seeing life with a different perspective. You know, I also feel like a lot of you would benefit very greatly. They have a lot of subliminal sleep rain on here. I really, really enjoy that. And I sleep to subliminal sleep rain or crickets a lot. And it really, really does help. It's amazing how much it helps you when you are on a journey to rewire your thoughts, because it subconsciously gets in there and it really does do a lot. There's definitely been a lot of mountains that you've had to scale, a lot of things that you've had to climb over, a lot of obstacles that have been in your way. But you are also starting to make out the reasons for why it had to be the way that it had to be. It had to be the way that it had to be because you were growing something so beautiful and so stable and so strong within yourself that it would be able to handle anything that came your way. If it wasn't for everything that I went through, there would be no way that I would be able to handle the things that are going on in my life right now. And right now I'm handling the things that are going on in my life with such peace, such stability, such strength. I am so proud of myself, and you should be proud of yourself as well, because I feel like you have overcome so many different things that have really tried very hard to bring you down, but you are not allowing those things to bring you down. You get up, you rise up every day. You work hard towards your healing. You work hard towards your health. You work hard towards overcoming. You work hard to really build the life that you want to build, regardless of the obstacles or the challenges that get in your way. You never bow out and you never quit. You never surrender, which is a beautiful thing. And I'm not talking about like surrendering. I'm talking about you don't give up. You continue to fight the good fight, regardless of whether or not things have happened that have hurt you. And that is an amazing thing to be able to do. You have very much a very strong power and strength inside of yourself, and you should really appreciate and love that. Pat yourself on the back for it. And I'm not meaning, figuratively. I mean, really, pat yourself on the back for it. Congratulate yourself. Uplift yourself. Clap for you. You don't need nobody else to clap for you. Clap for yourself. Tell yourself how amazing you're doing. And if you don't do that, you'd never be able to see it from the outside anyway, even if it did come in. Captivate those around you with your fiery passion and your skillful execution. You have everything that you need within you. We each have our own purpose, and yours is very great. Think of the times when things could have been deadly, but they weren't. You are never alone. The divine, angels, and spiritual realm has your back. I feel like I feel like I intimidate a lot of people as well. There was a situation that happened where I was in the car with a person that was a little bit suicidal / homicidal. I don't even know where we were at, because I don't know some of this area very well still. We were at this lake somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and all of a sudden he's talking about how, why do they got to put the guardrails over there? If they didn't have those there, we could just drive right off this into the lake. And I'm pretty sure this was his intention, but a thrill of fear shot through me at that moment. There was part of him that was joking. A very small part of him was joking. He was completely serious, though. And all of a sudden, the radio starts playing, "Not gonna drown in the water, 'cause the good Lord ain't bringing me home." And I looked at him and I just started laughing, and it's like all the color drained from him. I just started laughing. And I was like, listen to the song that's playing on the radio right now. I already told you, it's not my time to go. I am meant to be here right now. And if you drive off this bridge, the only person that's going to be dying today is you. And I'm still going to be here, which is great, because I was never one for Romeo and Juliet anyway. If you kill yourself, I will still be here, because I have other things to do that are more important than that. And it's not that I don't love people, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to jump off the bridge if you do. If all my friends jumped off the bridge and it was a deathly bridge, I wouldn't be doing it. If they all jumped off the bridge and it was into this river and it was great, yeah, I might do that. That would be fun. But if they were all jumping off to kill themselves, yeah, I'm sorry, but no, I got other things to do. Nope. I learned at a very young age why I'm not doing that. I was very suicidal for a time when I was younger as a teenager. So I understand that feeling, but at the same time, no, I'm here for a reason. And I sure as hell don't want to live this life again, so I'm going to do whatever I need to do and learn whatever I need to learn. Because I ain't coming back to this life again. After this life, I'm pretty sure I'm done. And that's where I'm headed. So, wow. There's someone that has definitely been watching from the outside, seeing the heartbreak that you've gone through, the struggle that you've gone through. All of the things that you have gone through has been strengthening your intuition, has been strengthening your ability to dive into your emotions while still remaining grounded. You have definitely been visiting the shadow side of yourself, exploring it, getting to know it, starting to love it, starting to accept it. And in doing so, that does shift your view on love. Because everyone has a shadow side. You're never going to find somebody that is completely perfect. And honestly, when you find somebody that's perfect or looks perfect, just ask my mom. Because this guy that she had met, he wasn't a smoker, he wasn't a drinker, he wasn't a gambler, he wasn't a wife beater, he wasn't a drug addict, he wasn't anything. He was pretty much perfect. In fact, he had OCD. And he was also a child molester who molested her children. When you find something perfect, generally there's a lot more decay hidden underneath. I learned that at a very young age, which is why this town I'm in that looks so perfect from the outside, there's a lot of decay here too. They just hide it on the back streets instead of right in public view where everybody can see it, because they don't want anybody seeing that their town has bad things in it. But their town does have bad things in it. Actually, it is like a methopolis. It is literally, there's so much meth here, it's ridiculous. There are so many alcoholics here, it's ridiculous. It's just, there are so many pedophiles and rapists here. Per capita, we have more pedophiles and rapists here than they do in Las Vegas. And this is a tiny little town. But this state also does not punish those people in a very strong way. Where Nevada, that guy that molested me and my younger sister, yeah, he got 2 consecutive sentences of 25 to life. And that was on a plea bargain. They put a child pedophile rapist in Idaho on house arrest at one point in time and didn't even notify the kid's father that he had done that to his kids. Yeah, so the place may look perfect, but it sure as hell isn't. The source of all. Follow the moon. Follow your intuition. Listen to your intuition. There is definitely something that you have the skills to be able to communicate and navigate your way through. Pray for clarity and trust in the messages and guidance that you receive at this time. Trust in your intuition. Trust in your instincts. Get quiet and listen. Taking a walk at night underneath the light of the moon will really help you to be able to get in touch with that feminine aspect of yourself, with the intuition, with the instincts, with your natural side, and also with your shadow side. Being able to really connect to that and understand that is very, very important for being able to heal and grow, and for being able to use those things as strengths instead of carrying them around as weaknesses. When we deny those shadow aspects of ourselves, there's a lot of people out there that are holier than thou, that are self-righteous, that really think their shit don't stink. But everyone has shit and everyone's shit stinks. The only thing that we can do about that is work on it. And when you're not denying it and you're accepting it, then you can actually truly work to heal those things. Once again with the, wow, we got the Tiger, Follow the Moon, and the Moon card. They are all kind of the same card in a lot of ways. Really being able to balance out your shadow and your light side. Working hard on what you have been working on is very beneficial for you. Everything that you're doing right now is very beneficial for you. This web that you're weaving is something that is going to be very strong, very solid. And you know, sometimes even when we build something strong and solid, it can still be torn down. Because think about the spider, it spends all day long building this web. And then a strong enough wind comes up and it just knocks it over. But that webbing that the spider uses to build that web is one of the strongest substances on this planet. A little wind can knock it over, though. That happens sometimes. So being able to work on those things inside of yourself is going to make it to where that little burst of wind doesn't knock you over anymore. The gossip, the attacks, the constant BS and drama going on around you and in life, which always happens, period. It always happens. There's no such thing as a completely drama-free life, as a completely peaceful life. That is not something that exists. But what does exist is that peace that we can hold inside of ourselves throughout those dramatic times. The strength that we have inside of ourselves. Ants can carry 100 times their weight. They are very, very, very strong. And so are you. You have a lot of strength inside of yourself. And a lot of that strength comes from being able to balance your shadow side and your light side. Being able to balance your masculine side and your feminine side. Being able to accept that you have all of those aspects inside of yourself. Being able to see them, appreciate them, and being able to work with them so that you can be the strongest version of yourself that you can be. Being able to be in touch with your heart is going to be very, very important. And sometimes after painful experiences, it's really hard to get in touch with our heart and open our heart up again. The Melting of Winter is another poem you guys might like that you can find on Dee's StoryTime too, and the links in the description box below. Basically, right now, that ice is melting off of the hearts of a lot of people in the collective. And your hearts are shining again. Your hearts are coming out to play again. But your hearts are not going to be as vulnerable as they have been in the past. They're not going to be as fragile or as sensitive. There's been a thicker skin that has been built around your heart. So you don't need to have a fear of allowing your heart to come out. Because even if your heart comes out, your heart is no longer going to be able to be squashed. It's going to be very strong in the pursuits that it's making. So in between messages, again, if you guys would like to be able to purchase a question or leave a donation, I truly appreciate all that you guys do on that front. And you can find my links for that in the description box below. PayPal, Cash App, Amazon wishlist. And I really do appreciate any of you who support me in whatever ways that you do. All of the likes, shares, comments, interaction, donations, all of that stuff really does help me out, and I truly appreciate that. John Cross. I wrote somebody's phone number on the back of one of these. 208 99 45089. There's definitely some cycles coming to a close and some new beginnings beginning. And you have been walking through this time with so much weight on your shoulders, wondering when it was ever going to end, wondering when you were ever going to end up in this next chapter and when the old chapter was going to close. But the old chapter is coming to a close right now. And you may not be able to see what's coming in yet, but trust and allow it to come in. Change is inevitable and it's going to come whether we like it or not. So it's best to just surrender and allow things to happen as they're going to happen. Envy is awful to experience. When you really think about it, you gotta realize that it's awful on both sides. Imagine hating yourself and your life so much that you covet everything about another person's life. Not everyone knows or can believe that they can make changes or have different in their life. They are stuck in a prison of their own mind, usually created by past abuse. Not an excuse for their actions taken. It just makes it more understandable. You can have compassion and understanding without allowing people to walk all over you and being able to walk away when necessary. Me Too, Megan Trainor. Great song. I haven't listened to that song in so long. Me Too is a great song. You could definitely be the type of person that wakes up every day and you're just like, I love to be me. Why would I want to be anybody else? And it may be very hard to understand why anybody else would want to be anybody else. But a lot of people have a lot of self-hate. A lot of people hate their life. A lot of people don't really love what's going on in their world. A lot of people want an escape. And a lot of people really can't see that there could ever be anything different in their life. A lot of them can't see that it's their own choices that are making their life the way that it is. Things like that. Earthworm. Earthworms come out when it rains, only to feed, mate, or move to another place. It represents the relationship between active and passive energies in life, once again with the tiger energy. Darkness is not always a bad thing, but it may be time to move towards the light that is beckoning you. By cleansing and clearing your energy field, miraculous regeneration and healing is why this animal is with you now. Just when you feel like giving up, you will receive a breakthrough. Your rebirth will come at the perfect time. Take life one step at a time. Be patient with yourself and with others. Sometimes it's difficult to come out in the open. Slow movement is so that you can learn. Confront your fear or dislike of doing something and learn from it. When you give, what you give is what you get. Dig through the dirt and allow it to be the fuel that pushes you forward. When worms dig through the dirt and they poop it all out, that dirt becomes the most fertile soil there is as well. So everything that you're leaving behind you right now, you are creating fertility. You are planting seeds that are going to bear fruit. All of the things that you are doing that are hard at first, that make you a little bit uncomfortable, that may give rise to some triggers or some fears or some doubts, and being able to face those things head on and doing what you feel is right anyway is something that is really going to make some massive changes in your life. Also, being able to let go of the idea that your life needs to be any different to be happy. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, I want to be a millionaire. Oh, I want to be a millionaire. Oh, I want to be a millionaire. Yet, and a little bit envious or jealous of the people who have all that money and all that kind of stuff. First off, every life has its own problems, its own pros and its own cons. There is problems in that lifestyle as well. And it really takes a lot to be able to let go of that. Let go of the idea that the next thing that comes in is going to bring happiness, because happiness is found inside of you. It's not found in some other thing that comes in, some other person that comes in, some other town. It's not found in some other way of living. It's found inside of you. And once you're happy inside of you, nobody can take that happiness away from you. Nothing that happens can take that happiness away from you. Yes, you're still going to feel upset or sad or hurt or angry or frustrated at times, but at the core of you is that happiness that can never be shaken. How much can you really endure? Do you even know? Do you see your strength? Look back on everything that you have faced and everything that you have been through. You have been through much worse than you are right now, but you're still here. You are learning to trust yourself and your instincts more and more. You and your energy are not meant for everyone. Be discerning. You could be dealing with a lot of people who were really not on your team. Now you know better, or soon you will. Notice when things fall into place and out of place. Notice when the universe is nudging you. Notice when things are happening for your benefit, even if it seems like at the time these things aren't happening for your benefit. The consciousness raises, Boy, there is a lot of loud cars today. I'm going to wait for that one to go away because it was really loud. The consciousness raises as we raise ourselves and others up. As less and less people will look away in the face of injustice. As we go into this future, we remember and we rejoice in it. We no longer believe that the world is getting worse and worse. Everybody will try to sell you this story of everybody's going to hell and the whole world's on fire and everything's so disgusting these days. Oh, really? Go back in time 60 years because I wouldn't want to live then. I'd probably be being strung up in the courtyard and stoned to death just for opening my mouth. Come on now. Who wants to live 100 years ago? Who wants to live 1,000 years ago? Who wants to live 1,500 years ago when they used to take all the children that were homeless on the streets back to their house as their sex slaves and nobody gave a shit? Nobody wants to live then. And it wasn't a better world then. It wasn't necessarily a worse world. It was bad in its own ways, just like it's bad in its own ways these days. And at the same time, consciousness has been raising up since the beginning. It is both bad and good, and it has always been that way. It cannot be one without the other. Listen to Bob Ross. You can't have light without shadow. You can't even see the light without shadow. You can't see the shadow without the light. But people don't have to be that evil either. From the dawn of time, the trajectory has been on an upward spiral. Slowly, we have gained more awareness, compassion, intelligence, emotional awareness, emotional intelligence. Think about how violent and evil the past truly was. Yes, there is still evil in this world, but I feel like it has gone down a lot. How many people these days just look away as a parent beats their child on the side of the street, or as someone rapes someone, drags them down the alley? At the same time, we must remember forgiveness is the biggest part of it all. Hope, faith, trust, and love is replacing fear, shame, guilt, and pain. Those are the truth, and the past way is an illusion. The most serial killers in history came from the 40s and 50s, when there was massive religious uptick, when everybody was constantly shaming, guilting, fearing, and intimidating everyone with religion. Nothing was allowed. Everybody must be perfect, and everything was a sin, and it was all disgusting and horrible and awful. We created shit tons of serial killers through that. Just saying, the shadow side must be accepted too. And whose sin is greater than anybody else's? We're not the judges. You are worthy. You are worthy, know it's true. Love everything that makes you you. No more seeing yourself as less. No more mind in a mess. Healing comes to you now. You will see and know it's true. Love yourself as you'd love another. Love yourself like your own mother. No more question on if you deserve. Throwing a curve, make sure you swerve. If it's not up to par, no more settling for below the bar. You are meant for so much more. Believe it's true and open the door. Exactly. Like not giving that person another chance last night. Yeah. That's just the way it is. I'm sorry, but you know what? You fucked up twice and you did the exact same thing twice. And you can tell me you were confused on what I was saying all you like, but you weren't. You were literally here for one thing, and it wasn't for a friendship with me. Regardless of a relationship, it wasn't for a friendship with me. It's time for you to start cutting people out and not feeling guilty about it. Two of Cups. The High Priestess, Six of Swords, hear the Ancient Ones, be without malice, embrace the masculine. So, embrace, we've been talking a lot about embracing the feminine throughout this, and then we were talking a lot about embracing both sides, and now we're talking about embracing the masculine. Embracing the strong, hard, unyielding portion of yourself. The portion of yourself that knows that you don't need anything or anyone. The portion of yourself that can stand on your own 2 feet and hold steady. The portion of yourself that does not give in. The portion of yourself that acts. And when you're accepting of both your masculine and your feminine side and it's balanced out, you act with integrity. You act with kindness. You act with the highest good of everyone around you in mind, yourself and others. It's time to really open up to the messages that your ancestors are sending you as well. To really look back on the history of things that you have gone through. The history of your family and things that they have gone through. To understand what cycles are being broken in your families right now. And what cycles you are responsible for changing and altering. One of the biggest cycles in my family would be men abusing women. And I refuse to allow that to happen. I refuse to put up with it. I refuse to let somebody walk all over me and tell me that's my place. That's never going to happen. Not in my life. No. And a lot of that is because my mom finally put her foot down, and I got to watch some of that as a kid too. My grandma finally got to that point. She died right afterwards. Literally right afterwards. Me, I have chosen to do it much earlier in my life because I have not allowed that, period. That's just not something I'm going to allow. The cycles in, say, my ex's life would be the women allowing abuse to happen and looking the other way. Him believing that his wife was going to be just like his mother and look the other way. And he wasn't going to have to take responsibility or accountability for anything that he had done. Being able to move away from the shadows of the past and looking forward to the beauty of the future. Listening to your higher self and trusting in the signs, the synchronicities, and the guidance that you receive from your higher self. Striving to be in that beautiful energy of light while accepting the fact that you have that shadow side. When you accept the fact that you have that shadow side, then you know when that shadow side is trying to run you. You can't starve it out of existence. You know, I really don't like that old saying where you have two wolves inside of you. The angry wolf and the joyful wolf. The one that you feed wins. No, the one that you starve becomes ravenous. And eventually it will break out and destroy everything around it. You can't starve it into submission. I'm sorry. But no, you can love it into you can love it into becoming good. Think about that for a minute. When you got a wild stray dog and it's growling at everybody and lashing out at everybody, wanting to attack everybody because it's scared and it's hurt and it's angry. And you take the time to be patient with it, to love it, to accept it, to nourish it, to care for it, to believe in its ability to change. That dog can become the best friend that you will ever have in your entire life. All because you didn't just decide, oh, that dog needs a bullet in it, because that dog's just beyond saving. You're going to have a lot more harmony and peace in your friendships and your interactions emotionally because of your ability to see and notice those sides of yourself. Your ability to be able to love them and work with them. And your ability to be able to accept them while remaining in a positive energy and reminding yourself of the good person that you are as well. Everybody does have both sides to them. What we choose is very important. But the only way that we can choose to follow that good side is by accepting both the bad and the good side. So in between messages, if anybody wants to be able to donate, you can find my Cash App, PayPal, and Amazon wish list in the description box below. And I truly appreciate any and all of you who do that, or anybody who interacts with me on either of my channels. I really appreciate you guys. Your support is so appreciated. Thank you so much for that. And we're going to get one more message for the closeout today. We're going to read a lot of messages for the closeout. So, let's see. Ease your mind. Don't allow yourself to fall into this rabbit hole. Once again with the rabbit holes. I love the synchronicities because the whole reading ends up blending together really. We talked about rabbit holes earlier in this. PTSD is hard to deal with. And too much internet scrolling may cause psychosis. You need to pull away from it all to heal more. It's okay to need this time. So, if you find yourself on a fear-based journey through the internet, constantly scrolling, constantly running across negativity, constantly stuck in your mind, constantly overthinking things, fearing things, paranoid, upset about things, that is PTSD. That is things that you've gone through in the past that are causing you to see your world through the lens of fear instead of the lens of faith and trust. Thank you, Muse. I am really looking forward to 3,000. I am almost there, and when I get to 3,000, I will be giving away 2 free readings as well. So everybody share my channel and help me get to 3,000. Muse is manifesting 3,000 subscribers for me down here. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. My life is changing at a rapid pace. It's time to put fear triggers to a test. So you will be tested. Your commitment to peace, your commitment to living a life of love, your commitment to surrendering, trusting, and having faith is being tested right now. Your fears are going to be being triggered. Your commitment to overcoming your PTSD will be tested. If you're trying to heal your PTSD, you're going to have things pop up that are going to cause that PTSD to be triggered. Changes are not always bad. Sometimes they can bring so much happiness and joy. It's time to take some time to enjoy these changes, to welcome the good that it can bring, and expect the best. Some bad things can happen, but there is always both good and bad in any situation you find yourself in. I deserve some good in my life, and that will take changes. I hand my fears up to the divine beings, and I ask my ancestors to fill me with strength and to be there to guide and protect me on my journey. Definitely winning trophies over there. Don't you see the truth here? We hate each other and we can't stand each other. Neither one of us ever agrees with anything that the other one says. All we do is argue. It's like we are siblings. I know they say you can't hate someone without loving them or without love being underneath it all, but it must be buried deep. We were talking about loving someone underneath all the pain and everything earlier too. Sometimes it is buried deep. Don't give your love to me. You have an amazing heart. We are toxic to each other. And even if I don't agree with you or your values, I feel like you deserve happiness with someone who loves everything about you. Don't sell yourself short, settle for less, or give yourself to anyone who doesn't see or appreciate your shine. By the way, I do still want to be friends. After all, I did say you're like a sibling to me. I love butting heads with you, and we both make each other stop and think from a different perspective. But we both need a partner in love, and not an opponent. This isn't sports. So exactly, it is good to have somebody who challenges your beliefs, your opinions, who has different perspectives to offer to situations and things like that. But when it becomes too different, then you guys are always against each other. There's not really a partnership there when you can't work together because everybody's against each other. So remember that when it comes to situations that you could be going into or coming out of. Holding back my tears, squeezing my eyes shut. Ugh, not this again. Go away. I've cried enough lately. Crying never solved any problems anyway. Is this my own voice speaking or that of my parents? It's okay that I'm crying. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to grieve a loss, even if no one else sees it as one. It was for me. I'm allowed to cry, and I'm going to give myself that needed time for grieving and for cleansing. The only way to heal is to allow myself to process and feel everything, so that I feel everything. I can do this. It hurts so bad, yes, but at the end of the day, I still have me. That's a great song, by the way. I still have me. So I have to take care of me, give myself the love that I need. This reparenting thing can be so difficult. I feel like it's a very slow progress at times, but I know that this is the way to go. And I know I got this. It's working. It's time for me to see and celebrate my own progression through this journey. So all the progress, we've talked a lot about that today as well. Celebrating that progress, patting yourself on the back, telling yourself that you're doing a good job, and making sure that you are really noticing, appreciating, and recognizing how far you've come and how many things that you have healed and worked through, even if there's more to go. I need to believe in myself again. I need to trust in myself and my powers and my skills. I need to express myself again, fearless of others' views or opinions. Sometimes we get caught up in questioning those things because of certain things that happen, or because of certain people that leave our life, or because of the lack of support around us. But the amount of support we have inside of ourselves can really make a difference. Start trusting yourself again, loving yourself again, and being you without worrying about who it's going to bring in or who it's going to drive away. It doesn't matter. If people leave because you're being you, then you didn't need them in your life anyway, because you want the people who can accept you and love you as you are, not the people who want you to be a certain way and are gone the next day if you aren't. Look high, not low. Sights on the sky, set so high, haters always wonder why. Set expectations are a lie, but look at me now, standing tall, I have climbed my own brick wall. Are you ready to fight this fight, or is jealousy blocking your sight? You can change your life too, come out smelling so brand new. But all your time is wasted here, spent only on your nasty leer. Take a minute to look in the mirror. Tell me, what is it that you truly fear? See the amazing things you could be, if only you were willing to pay the fee. And also remembering that the people around you that have that jealousy, that envy that we were talking about earlier, they could be living the life that you're living too. They're choosing not to. So it's not your fault that they're feeling the way that they are. It's not anything that you're doing. It's all within themselves. Do I want to know? Arctic monkeys. Have you got that color in your cheeks? Do you ever get that feel that got you? Do you ever get that feel that got shit that sticks around like cement in your teeth, hiding some aces up your sleeve? Have you no idea that you're in deep? I've dreamt about you nearly every night this week. How many secrets can you keep? So that song is basically about somebody coming back in to try to start something up again. Do I want to know if you feel the same way about me as I feel about you? Somebody who might have been a little bit paranoid, had some trust issues, some pride issues, things like that, reaching out and trying to spark something up again. So there could definitely be some people that are dealing with that in their life, where they may have some people that are feeling a bit obsessed and really wanting to reach out, wanting to see if they can repair things or mend things that have gone awry, something along those lines. You might even be wanting to do that yourself. Oh, an ex-lover, husband, or boyfriend. Level up, Ciara. Motivation, Normani. Motivation, Kelly Rowland. Now you're winning. You put in so much work and tried so hard to get them to believe in themselves, as you did. Tried so hard to get them to see that you wanted them, but they couldn't accept it. They didn't even want themselves. They didn't think that they were worth it. They didn't think that they were good enough. They were not wanting to put in the work into themselves to heal, things like that. I was so hurt that I felt betrayed and left out in the cold. No matter what you did or how you were there for me, I couldn't even see it. I didn't want to. After everything that I did to you in my projections, I didn't feel like I deserved any of it. I thought your kindness and love for me was stupid. You deserved better, so I pushed you away. You were the only one there for me. I was mired in so much self-pity, self-hate, and was blaming everything on you. I'm sorry that I let you down. I'm sorry that you believed in me. I'm sorry that I hurt you. And I am sorry that I tried to take everything from you and ruin your good name. You deserved better. Don't waste your time on me. Reach for the sky. I know that you can accomplish anything, even if I tried to convince you otherwise, because I was scared that you would see that you deserved better and you would find it elsewhere. Sights on the sky. I like that that was it kind of fit in with this because reach for the sky. There could definitely be someone that is telling you that even though you guys have ended things and everything is different now, they really want to know if you guys could be friends again, if you guys could heal the connection again, even if that's all it ever was. And I feel like a lot of them, that's all they really ever want. They don't really want to have that relationship again because they're realizing now that you guys are just on very different paths and you guys are not looking for the same things. Nightingale, frog, and the bee. Singing, dancing, crying, healing, allowing everything out in a healthy way, expressing yourself in a healthy way, painting, drawing, writing, allowing yourself to get those feelings that are bubbling up and that are left in there, that are unhealed, out, is really going to be very beneficial for you. I also feel like making amends as well, or being able to somebody's going to have to make an apology that is as loud as the betrayal was, whether that's you or somebody else. Whoever was the one that was causing these issues here is going to have to reverse them by being as loud with the apology as they were with the betrayals before anything can even come of this situation. Being asked to take a leap of faith, look at things in a new journey. A leap of faith where once you held back something that was really hard, something that was never ending. It just seemed like everything was constantly standing in your way or standing against you. There definitely was a lot of jealousy going on around you, competition, just that constant fight all the time. And this person at first may have felt like they won. But then they looked around and they went, oh, I'm alone. There's nobody here. There's nothing here. I'm alone. My win, my victory was very hollow. It really wasn't even a win. It was a loss. There was a lot of possessive, controlling behavior. There was a lot of, there could have even been financial abuse in this situation as well. I've dealt with some of that myself. But taking this leap of faith and getting out there on your own has taught you just how much you can do on your own, just how much you don't need this situation. Whether you wanted this situation or not, you didn't need it. And so even if things did come back together at this point and you decided to bridge things and you decided to heal things, you also know that at this point, they aren't going to be treating you the same way, because if they are, you will be gone. And they know that too, that you don't need them. They tried to make you feel like you needed them, but you don't need them. And you're perfectly capable of navigating this world on your own. So you have really learned a lot from the situations that you have gone through. And it has been a lot. But at the end of the day, all of these things were for your highest good. You can look at them as blessings in disguises. Because if it wasn't for going through every single thing that you went through, you wouldn't have learned the lessons you did. You wouldn't have learned how to trust your wings. You wouldn't have learned how to be able to take that leap of faith and to trust in yourself and the universe to catch you. Because you would have had everybody around you and you wouldn't have felt the need to take those leaps of faith. Some of you would have even just stayed stuck in that same position forever instead of moving forward. But because of all the things that you went through in this situation, it pushed you out of the nest. When a baby bird doesn't want to hop out of the nest and fly, a mom will push it out of the nest. And that's because it needs to learn that it can trust its wings. It won't be able to survive in this world if it doesn't fly. And sometimes that's what it takes. So that is what I have for you guys today. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this reading. I really enjoyed being here with you guys today and conversing with you guys. Aw, thank you so much, Muse. You're welcome. And I really appreciate anybody who donates or purchases readings or anything like that, likes, shares, comments, subscribes, leaves timestamps on my videos. You guys are all so appreciated. I really do appreciate each and every one of you guys, and I hope you guys have a beautiful night or day, whatever it is, wherever you are when you're watching. Bye-bye, guys. Ugh.